Hey there, Knicks fans. We are so excited to announce that Fanatics Fest is back in New York City this summer, taking over the Jacob Javits Center from Thursday, July 16th to Sunday, July 19th. You can meet your favorite athletes from every major league, including current Knicks like Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, and Karl-Anthony Towns, and the legend, my guy, Patrick Ewing. Catch live podcasts and panels featuring some of the biggest names in sports while experiencing interactive activations from top leagues and brands. You could also grab exclusive merch and discover one-of-a-kind memorabilia from sports and entertainment, buy, sell, and trade collectibles with hundreds of top dealers, and best of all, connect with fans from around the world who share your passion for sports. Tickets are on sale now at fanaticsfest.com, and when you use that promo code KnicksFilm10 at checkout, you will get 10% off your purchase. How about that? It's an extra day of the world's #1 sports fan festival coming together under one roof, and you will not want to miss it.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by Fanatics Sportsbook. My name is Andrew Claudio. That is Sean with the W. We are filling in for the great Jonathan Macri. The Knicks, stress-free, as expected, double-digit victory over the Utah Jazz. They covered a 14-point spread. Final score in Utah, 134-117. Sean, I don't think there's much to talk about. That was exactly how we thought the game would go, right? The Knicks would win comfortably by double figures.
If you watched my betting and sweating picks, I said that, well, my 1-point bet was the Knicks to cover 2.5-point spread in the fourth quarter because either Utah would roll over like dogs in the fourth, or the Knicks would decide to stop being on BS after 3 quarters and get their stuff together. And both things happened.
So I will say that the turnaround more started after a timeout. The Knicks, I believe, their 4th time out of the game that came early on in the second quarter when our Slack channel with the fine folks at Fanatics Sportsbook received a we need another crash out message, which unfortunately Mr. Macri would not have been here for the crash out had that loss gone the way it was going. Look, I'll just start by saying my piece. I was as aggravated as everybody was in the first quarter. The Knicks get outscored by 15. The Jazz score 41 points. They end up going up by 18 early on in that second quarter. And then the play better button started hitting. I'm not going to completely blame it on this as well, but some shots that were falling for the Jazz in the first half then just decided to normalize and not hit when they were at 1 point 11 of 13 from 3. I just was like, okay, this is annoying. The Knicks are playing poorly. That's not normal. Like, eventually they will start playing like the Utah Jazz. Thankfully they did, and thankfully the Knicks also started playing like the Knicks. My biggest takeaway, honestly, Sean, is that the NBA is a long season. I understand why this team is so maddening. You've said it before, like, you understand, like we both have said, like, we understand where the frustrations and people wanting to blow up this team or calling them unlikable, where all that whole thing came from, because there are stretches where this team can look very unlikable and like they want to be blown up. Thankfully, I mean, look, Karl-Anthony Towns, his offense really saved him in the first half. He is playing his best basketball under Mike Brown over the past couple of weeks. Thankfully, Mitchell Robinson's rebounding kept them in the game, especially in that second quarter where it looked like the game could go a different direction. Jalen Brunson erupted in that third quarter. And then, of course, the Jordan Clarkson game gave us reasons to remember why he's still on this team and why he may end up back in this rotation. But overall, they effed around, Sean. They didn't. They will find out if they F around in the playoffs playing like this, but they F around tonight, and thankfully they didn't have to find out with the worst possible scenario, which would have been a loss. So I'll give you the floor. Your thoughts on what you witnessed tonight?
So listening to the weekly recap with John and Jeremy, and John pointed out how this team likes to feel itself out, feel out the first quarter, feel out the team, right? Which is understandable, but it's also infuriating. It's like, why is it every time it's like, let's figure out how much effort we can put into this game tonight to start. Do we have to be like, and for certain teams, the effort's there, they just don't execute. Like, listen, against the Lakers, they couldn't hit a three. Against the Clippers, they couldn't hit a three. It just seemed like today. Now, what frustrated, I didn't really get super frustrated in the first half, although and I pointed this out on Twitter, the Jazz kept running the same play where they screened that guy off to get the corner three over and over, spamming that play, and it was like, dog, like, all right, like, this is like the fourth time they've done this. Like, you're, as I like to say, like, you are choosing to just be like, whatever. But interestingly enough, during the second quarter, when the timeline was melting down, I went and looked up what the Knicks live money line was from our friends at Fanatics Sportsbook. And it was minus 200. So that should tell you all you needed to know. Like, they weren't worried about this game. And I was like, they're not worried about this game. And they know a little bit more. They know what they're doing, right? So I never got overly frustrated. I knew it was the Jazz. I knew, like, at some point they would hit the play better button, which they did it a couple times in later in the second quarter. But then, to your point, the Utah Magnet Ball is like, all right, there's hitting threes because of poor defense, and there's whatever the hell like Bryce Sensabaugh was doing. But interestingly enough, Andrew, I know you probably noticed this. Bryce Sensabaugh hits a three with, I believe, like 5:38 left in the second, and does the Mikal Bridges celebration. He does the thing. Since that point of the game, Jazz were outscored by the Knicks 85-59. Now, I'm not going to say that that's what woke them up, but it is something I kept in the back of my mind. I was like, look here, young fella, like, all right, okay, settle down. And the Knicks settled down, and then they did what they were supposed to do.
And look, I will say, to your point about what the odds were at Fanatics, I never thought the Knicks were going to lose this game. There was no point in this game where I thought, like, maybe, wow, we actually are going to be doing the recap for the worst loss of the season. You know, like, I there was no point where I actually thought we were going to get there. I was just frustrated that, like, they weren't playing well. You know, like, I understood where people were coming from with their first half crash outs. And there's a super chat that we'll get to later that actually asks me to read someone's first half tweets. So we'll get to them eventually. Look, I will also just add, and this is not me making excuses for the team because they played so bad in the first half. And you talk about the pin down, the old Hartenstein screen where they were getting someone open. The Jazz were, either it was Kevin Love or Filipowski. They were getting whatever they wanted on corner threes, right? They also were running that similar play where whoever drives into the paint finds whoever's in the dunker spot, and it just worked every time. And it's like, so you have two plays that are working against this Knicks defense that's supposed to be allegedly good. But can I just, like, the first half percentages, the Utah Jazz shot 53.5% from the field and 66% from three. In the second half, they shot 43% from the field and 27% from three. They went 4 of 15 from three in the second half. Like the Sensabaugh pass behind the back to whoever for the dunk, the Isaiah Collier running three at the end of the first quarter that went in. Like, there was so much nonsense happening that part of it was, yes, the Knicks are playing poorly. There was also some stuff that, unless they get this all night, then it really just isn't your night. The Knicks will eventually come back and win this game. And thankfully they did. Some individual highlights. Karl-Anthony Towns is my standout tonight. The Knicks were able to stay in this game because of what he was doing offensively. I think he had one of the more important challenges of the game too, where he knew that the ball went off of whoever he was driving's foot. Garcia's foot, right? Yeah. That's the other thing, by the way. An obvious goaltend that Garcia commits, they don't call it, and it's just the chase down block. And it's like, wow, so all of these breaks are going the Jazz way. But I digress. Karl-Anthony Towns gets that play overturned. Mm-hmm. And then the Knicks get a bucket out of it. And I think it cut it back under 10 points. I forget the exact moment it happened. But, I mean, he had 15 points in the first half. All of it seemed important. I mean, Brunson was 1 of 8 in the first half. Every Knicks seemed to be struggling. I know Anunoby hit a couple shots, but his offense was the reason they were able to be within striking distance, only down 9 at halftime. Mm-hmm. And I'll just, these little things I'm noticing. Yes, is he still picked on defense? Sure. Is he still like having moments where in drop coverage he's taking advantage of on these middies? Is he still get his hands in the cookie jar sometimes? Yes. He is playing better defensively. There was a moment he was up guarding above the 3-point line and forced, I forget which Utah guard it was, to get rid of the ball, whether it was George, whether it was Sensabaugh. Like, he is actually alert and calling and talking on defense, which is exactly what you wanted him to be. And then you add in what his passing is. He is 21, 7, and 7 tonight. Karl-Anthony Towns was outstanding in this game. That's where I want to start with what the Knicks were, even though there's another Knick that will, of course, get his flowers tonight. But Cat, I thought was great tonight, Sean.
And I remember that play. And it just further the one with Garcia when the ball went off Garcia's foot, and it just further reinforced that Karl-Anthony Towns has the worst whistle of any All-Star in the NBA, because, like, one, it was a foul, and then the ball goes off of Garcia's foot, and the official goes Jazz ball, and I'm like, but to your point, like, he saw it, and then he complained. And then he saw him about to inbound it, and he immediately called timeout because he knew that ball didn't go off his foot. So shout to him. They called the proximate foul, which I hate that. I cannot stand that word because proximate fouls always seem to go against the Knicks, but I digress. But yeah, like, he has taken his defensive assignments more seriously. And yes, he's going to get picked on. He's going to be attacked. He's going to be targeted. But he is not backing down from the challenge. And he's doing the things that you need your starting center that wants to win a championship all the time. Listen, who said CP from Knicks Fan TV tweets it all the time. No cat, no rings. Like, if we will, the Knicks will not win the championship if Karl-Anthony Towns is not playing at his best. It's like, simple as that. So for all you Karl-Anthony Towns haters, like, if you want to win a title, you need to put your agendas to the side. But he played an absolutely great game.
I don't even know if you can hate on Cat these days. He's playing, like I said, he's playing his best ball under this new coach. Like, we've been waiting all year for him to, like, adjust, and all the quotes and post games about him getting used to the new system. I mean, he looked like he fit in very well tonight, especially in that second quarter. That second quarter where he had 13 points, 13 of the Knicks. 30 points in that second quarter, which again kept them in the game because they were able to cut into what was a 15-point first quarter lead. I don't want to spend so much time on everybody, but we got to talk about Jordan Clarkson, because the second half for Jordan Clarkson in this game. So Jordan Clarkson at halftime had 8 points. I did the thing where I wrote down on my notes. I scored the game as I went by. He had 8 points, 4 in the first, 4 in the second. He then had 6 in the third quarter. And I stopped counting because the number got so high. The fourth quarter for Jordan Clarkson, where the Knicks put the game away, Jordan Clarkson had 13 points. Finishes tonight in his return to Utah with 27 points on 15 shots. Also had 5 rebounds, all of them offensive. I mean, so here's the question I'll ask you, because obviously he played really well tonight. Do you want him in the rotation going forward?
Clarkson?
Yeah. And I will assuming Josh Hart is healthy, like comes back and plays, and like, okay, it's because it's like a him or Alvarado, a him or Diawara. Do you go to 10 guys? Like, do you want him in the rotation?
I don't know if I want him as a permanent part of rotation, if that makes sense, but I want him to be available. Like, he's going to win, similar to how Campaign won us a playoff game. Jordan Clarkson is going to win us a playoff game because he's a professional scorer that scores professionally. And even I was watching the post game. Bill Pito was interviewing him in the post game. He's like, listen, you gotta stay ready. Got to be a professional, stay ready. So, I mean, I'd like a 10-man rotation, but rotations usually don't get larger in the playoffs. They get shorter. I think there will be a platoon. Okay, this is assuming that Deuce is back and healthy, right? Because if he's not, if Deuce for whatever reason is not healthy and Deuce get well soon, he absolutely needs to be involved because again, they're like, listen, the Bojan Bogdanovic game. I said that game was going to hit like crack in the playoffs, and it did. Saved us against Philly in Game 2 in 2024. We have to find a way to get him involved because there are going to be games where we don't have it, and he's going to come off the bench and just get buckets. And you've got to find a way. So maybe it's a platoon for that 9th spot or that 10th spot. Jose Alvarado, anytime you want to start hitting a 3 again, be my guest. But
yeah,
I'd like to see him involved. But then again, there's too many guys. But this is a problem I don't mind having. Like if the issue is like I don't know if I should pick Jordan Clarkson or the 51st pick in the draft because he's clearly played himself into a consideration for a role in the rotation. That's a problem I don't mind having.
Yeah, I will listen. I'll just have the Jose Alvarado conversation now. I put out the stat on Twitter that he since the Philly game, I think he's had 15 threes as a Knick so far. 8 of them are in that Philly game, right? And like his offensive game is just not existent right now. However, like as far as putting the ball in the hoop, and he had 2 floaters tonight. It was good to see the ball go in the hoop for him. Game high plus 28. He was part of that group that got serious in that second quarter when the lead got up to 18. They cut it back under double digits. Had a real good chemistry going with the guys out there. Being a floor general, has in 15 minutes had 7 assists in this game. I am with you. He's going to have to start hitting threes. Like you can't just like they're going to guard you like they do Josh Hart or like last year in the playoffs, like DeLon Wright, if you're not hitting threes. I thought it was a telling sign that in the fourth quarter of the Laker game that Mike Brown, I guess the third quarter of the Laker game, Mike Brown was like, let me get Kolek in here just to see for a couple minutes if this, gets this going, because they serve the same purpose, but Alvarado being a veteran and just being a better defender can do a little more things. He's going to eventually have to hit shots. I'm with everybody on that he can't just be like Eric Snow in the year of our Lord 2026 and be a floor general that plays great defense. I just thought tonight he actually was part of the solution, even if the larger big picture concerns are there. And I agree with you about Jordan Clarkson. I think we're looking at is, and look, this is, I mean, look, I'm not a Tibbs apologist. I do think he gets more criticism than is deserved. The biggest criticism is his inflexibility, that when things are going wrong in a playoff game, he's like, don't worry, my 7 got it. And better coaches like, or more flexible coaches like Eric Spoelstra, or like we saw Rick Carlisle, will find value in roster spot 9, 10, 11, and 12 if need be, if you're searching for things to work in the postseason. It's why Jordan Clarkson cannot be ruled out if he doesn't play game 1 or game 2. You might see them go to him in game 3, and it's like, oh, we're getting the Jordan Clarkson game right now. So that's why I'm glad he's still on the roster. Like the conversations about just cut him, like buy him out, let's use his roster spot. I'm glad he's still on the roster, and he had a great game tonight in his return to Utah. Jalen Brunson, tale of 2 halves. First half, I mean, actively detrimental, Sean, and then like the comeback that they had, that they cut the lead down to 6, and he came back in. Lead gets back up to 11, and he just has like empty possession after turnover after empty possession after turnover, and then has 15 points in the third quarter and was hitting everything, and was a plus 11 in a quarter where the Knicks turned that big deficit into a lead, and just reminded us why he's the captain. How would you evaluate Jalen Brunson's game? You're muted.
I thought
it was a muted first half, that's for sure. Much.
There are some times where I really believe that Jalen reads all his tweets. Someone had tweeted that Jalen usually, it was during that second quarter, and I remember exactly the time period you're talking about. Like, he had a crazy turnover, a bad pass, dribble, grenade, whatever. And someone had tweeted, like, usually, I forget who, but usually Jalen be like, he would try and take over right now, but since y'all said he shoots the ball too much, he's trying to be a facilitator. But I'm not worried about Jalen Brunson. Are there times I think he dribbles the ball a little bit too much? Yes, I do think there's a point where he's just like, all right, I got this. I got to figure this out, which is admirable. But, he's second in the league. Believe he's second behind Luka in first quarter points in the league. I was not worried. I'm not worried about Jalen Brunson, because at the end of the day, once we get to the playoffs, he's gonna turn it up. Like Menta always says, we get to the playoffs and there's all these lists, and it's like Jalen Brunson, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried about him. And like I said, this is the fourth game of their 5-game road trip. And as I said on Weekly Wages with Mensa earlier, like, the Knicks have been on a plane for every game since like the 27th of February, because they went to Toronto and they came back to New York to play Oklahoma City. Then they went to Denver and what have you. So it sometimes takes a little time to get into the game, but he found his rhythm, and then the rest was history.
The stat you actually said was that it was the 21st of February, because they come back after the All-Star break, play 2 home games, Detroit and Houston. Then they get on a plane, go to Chicago. Then they get on a plane, go to Cleveland, on a plane to Milwaukee, home to San Antonio, a plane to Toronto, then home for OKC, then to Denver. Then for 2 days, they're in LA. So that actually breaks up the plane.
That breaks it up.
Yeah. And then they go to Utah, and then they go to Indiana, and then they go home for the foreseeable future, because they don't leave the Eastern time zone, except for this back-to-back with it's not a full back-to-back, but these 2 games where they play. Is Memphis in our time zone? No, right? They're so there's 3 games. Central. Where they play OKC, Houston, and Memphis. It's tough to see him go through these shooting slumps, because what we've become so used to over the past 4 or 5 years is the bad shots, or the perceived bad shots, he makes them. So anytime he takes a shot that might be like, hey, you probably shouldn't have taken that, I'm reminded, but he's made a career and has turned himself into a superstar off of, taking and making bad shots. I was glad to see him get that third quarter. But we're gonna need him to start, just getting into a rhythm going into the postseason. And I just personally would like to see him finish the season strong. There's probably gonna be, I think he's second team All NBA right now. I know the Maxey conversation becomes fascinating, but yeah, like, we'll see. I would probably put him on second team, especially if the Knicks end up. And look, the Cavs lost tonight, and the Celtics are apparently sitting everybody tomorrow night against OKC. So the Knicks may gain some ground with the victory like this, which is why it's good to see the captain have a good game. The only other player I really want to highlight is OG Anunoby. Quietly had just like a very efficient game overall. That third quarter where the Knicks took the lead, Brunson had 15, but Anunoby had 10. He finishes this game with 22 points on 10 shots, goes 3 of 5 from 3, 2 steals, a block, was a plus 11 in his 31 minutes. Just did his job, checking boxes of game for OG Anunoby. continues just what's been at times an up and down season, but right now we're in the up portion of the OG Anunoby experience. So I thought he played well tonight too.
Yeah, he's the other guy that I used to argue that he's the second most important player on this team. I think now we're seeing that. Obviously, there's an argument for Karl-Anthony Towns, but the Knicks cannot win the championship if we don't get the best of OG Anunoby. So it's good to see him. Like you said, it's ups and downs. Right now, we're in an up. Let's hopefully it maintains. And, I'd really like to have games not matter in late April. I don't know how feasible that's going to be. Although, like you said, Boston is effectively punting tomorrow, and Cleveland lost tonight. By the way, do you know the magic of the 5 seed?
Yeah. It's them. So that whole division,
the whole division
is like been insane since the second half since the post All-Star break.
Yes.
So the Magic are 5, the Heat are 6, the Raptors are 7, Philly's all the way down to 8, and the Hawks, who are on a 7-game winning streak, are 1 game behind them. And then there's everybody's darling, the Hornets, just like now 500 and chilling in 10th. So like there's a very realistic scenario that Philly and their pick that goes to the Thunder if it falls out of the top 6, ends up back in the lottery, which would be very funny if the Thunder end up with a lottery pick. Anyway, with the Clippers making the playoffs and taking that off the table, right?
Yeah. And Tyrese Maxey is going to be reevaluated in 3 weeks. And which is, if today is the 12th, 12 plus 21 is 12, 30. So that's basically the season. That might be it for them. So I say a lot to say, who the hell the Knicks play in the first round? There's no one I can point to at this point.
Yeah. It's trending toward Philly misses the playoffs is more what I'm getting at. And like Orlando could be 5, Miami could be 5, Toronto. But right now, if it's 3-6, it's Knicks Toronto. No, it's Knicks Heat it's Knicks Heat because Toronto's a 7. But like we're talking a game difference, so we may end up with Knicks Toronto in the first round anyway if it's 3-6. But it'll be fascinating to see how the seedings work out.
That's what I want. I want Toronto.
I'm right there with you. I already have the jokes ready. Just playing Drake songs on the post game. Just hold on. You're going home. The only other name I think we should mention, I did mention him, but just Mitchell Robinson, the whole, the extra possessions that he gets you. It's rinse repeat with him all season. Finishes with 13 rebounds tonight. It shouldn't be so important when they lose games when he doesn't play on a back-to-back that I'm like, hey, we didn't have Mitch. But then you watch a game like this where it's like no grown man existed that could stop Mitchell Robinson tonight on the boards. And they tried. They threw doubles at him, which allowed for Jordan Clarkson to play the Josh Hart role and get his rebounds tonight. I didn't even look at the team totals tonight. How many offensive rebounds the Knicks ended up with? The Knicks ended up with 15 offensive rebounds to the Jazz 14. It felt like more, is all I'm going to say. Maybe most of that came in the first half. Mitch with 5 offensive rebounds. Jordan Clarkson with 5 offensive rebounds. It's why, apologies to our friend Bill Simmons, like, I understand why he's not playing back-to-backs because we need this type of output in the postseason. Saw a lot of double bigs tonight, too.
Yes.
I thought it was effective, too.
Yes, and Breen called it out that Breen and Monica McNutt, shout out to them, called it out like maybe those double big looks clogged up the paint a little bit so the Jazz weren't able to get into their drive and kick game or their seal off the man to open the corner 3 game. So listen, again, the regular season is about collecting information, experimenting, trying things out, and we have a head coach that was willing to try different things and try certain things, and it worked. And you didn't have to pull crazy levers, but it worked.
In 6.5 minutes that they were together, that they shared the floor, the Knicks outscored that Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson shared the floor tonight. The Knicks outscored the Jazz 24-7. So it seemed important.
I understand it's as frustrating as it is for Mitch to not be available for back-to-backs. If this gets him, because there's no back-to-backs in the playoffs, so if this gets him where he can play every single playoff game 20 to 25 minutes, then Casey Smith, I will send you a fruit basket.
I haven't had an issue with Mitch's usage all season. I know. I mean, we've gone at Mr. Macri about, because he had like defensive player of the year and all defense predictions before the season. I was like, he's not going to play that much, and he's like, "What, we're going to wrap him in bubble wrap?" He's like, "Yeah, kind of."
Yes.
The season's about April, May, and June. They just fired a coach that treated the regular season like it was life or death, so that we could focus on April, May, and June. So look, here we are. They're 42-25. They gained a game tonight on Toronto. They gained a game tonight on Cleveland. Just a final standings look. They are 3 games in the loss column behind Boston, currently with the tiebreaker, by the way. And so if Boston sits their guys and loses tomorrow against OKC, they'll be 2 back. And really what you're looking at, because they play the Celtics the last week of the season, the Knicks will then just need to gain 1 game before that game against the Celtics at Madison Square Garden the rest of the season. Could be that could be a game for the 2 seed if all breaks a certain way. So yeah.
I made a bet. I actually made a bet today with our friends at Fanatics SPORTSBOOK for the Knicks to win division. And I believe it was a pretty juicy number. It was actually, yes, it was plus 290, I believe it was. But I think it's absolutely hilarious that a man of one leg comes back and everyone is like, "Oh my God, the division's over." And it's like, well, they're 3 games back in the loss column. To your point, they have a game. They have the tiebreaker. They play again. Boston has the 7th hardest schedule in the league. The Knicks have the 3rd easiest. That's what we call value. That's what we call value, kids.
So here's how little of a life I have, Sean. There's a website called playoffpredictors.com. They're really good for football. It's like the playoff simulator that ESPN has.
Yes.
You could do it for basketball if you want to. And usually at some point in the season, I'll go to playoffpredictors.com and just play out the rest of the season picking every game. And I did that the other day, and I ended up, I tried to be as unbiased as possible, like give the Knicks a loss here, give the Knicks a win here. All the tanking teams just kept losing. And I did that for the rest of the season with the schedules. It ended up with the 3 teams ending in a 3-way tie, the Knicks, the Cavs, and the Celtics, with 54 wins. And the Knicks, if it's a 3-way tie, based off of the playoff predictor that I came up with, they get the 2 seed, and the Celtics drop the 4. So, we'll see if that ends up playing out exactly how it goes. But yeah, we're in the home stretch for the NBA season. It's crazy that it's already March.
Yeah. So on weekly wagers, Mentz and I played a game where we predicted. Basically, it was like, can the Knicks get to 55 wins? Because I think it was like plus 290. And Mentz and I went back and forth, whatever, and we both ended up at 54-28.
So there we go. we're all thinking the same thing now. So there you go. Speaking of our friends at Fanatics Sportsbook, we're gonna go through our best bets tonight and just say shout out to Jeff, because he's the only one that hit tonight. And it got scary in that 4th quarter as the Knicks were running away with it. I didn't know if Brunson was coming back in the game. He was sitting on 25 points. And Jeff decided that his pick tonight was going to be 26 plus points for Jalen Brunson. And Mike Brown earned his Coach of the Year vote from Jeff, at least, and puts Brunson back in to hit 1 shot to get to 28 and then hit the over. I might make you think that he was watching or at least following us on Twitter today. I unfortunately tried to bet pick the Knicks defense unders that have been hitting. That is now 2 straight games that those unders have not hit. And the Jazz, I took under 106.5 points. The Jazz scored 117. And then Mr. Macri, the Knicks to win both halves, might explain his first half outbursts online. But he picked the Knicks to win both halves. They only won the second half. Those are our picks, our best bets. Check us out in the app before every Knicks game, the Fanatics Sportsbook app. And this Friday, we'll be announcing a competition that if you throw a $10 bet on any time we do our parlay before the game on these bets, you'll be entered to win $100 in FANCASH for the rest of the season. We're doing that sweepstakes. So we'll officially be announcing that tomorrow. I guess it's technically tomorrow, so I can announce it now. But yeah, stay tuned for an official announcement sometime on Thursday. All right, you've all been very patient. Let's get to the super chats tonight. It is 12:13 a.m. here on the East Coast. It is a victory post game. There's a couple that I've been logged into StreamYard since let me see, are they still here? Oh, I gotta go find them. Okay, so
you want to find them while I vamp?
StreamYard did a thing. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Vamp.
Well, while you look for that, I was gonna say there's one player that we have not spoken about, and I'm pretty sure that he will be addressed in the super chats, and that is one Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges tonight had 5 more points than I did. He had 5 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. I may or may not have had Bridges in a parlay to get 4 assists, and he had 2 in the first quarter. And then that, as they say, was that. A minus 13 in a game. His team scored 134 points and won by 17. Look, he's just going through it right now. And look, the 5 picks chain will hang around his neck as long as he plays in orange and blue in the city of New York. I understand it's frustrating. It's a sunk cost. Can't do anything about it. He's going through it offensively. He had a bunch of good looks in the third quarter, like good wide open threes that just didn't go down. So stick with it. I'm not giving up on him. He's another guy we need. Like, listen, agendas be damned. We need these people to play well. Now, you can shit on them all you want on the internet. I mean, that's your prerogative. That's fine. Like, it's a free country, whatever. But I am not going to take this stretch to no. He's just going through it right now offensively. It's not like he's running with. It's not like he's not shooting. It's not like he's Ben Simmons out there. He's just not hitting shots. So, well, guys, hopefully he'll turn it around. And he's also doing the thing where actually I wrote this down because this dude missed a layup because he was avoiding contact. I was like, dog, 8:45 in a second. Like oh my goodness. It was like he got his layup got blocked, but because he was trying not to get hit. And
I was gonna say, Sean, he's not just missing shots, he's not taking shots right now. And look, I got a lot of play on the tweet I sent out last night about after Bam Adebayo had 43 free throw attempts, Mikal Bridges has 45 free throw attempts since December 3rd. So this is just the life that we live with Mikal Bridges these days. I think I wanted to avoid shitting on him on a game the Knicks won by double figures, which is why we didn't mention him. Here's where I am with Mikal Bridges at this point. You talked about the most important players on the Knicks, right? And Anunoby, Brunson, Cat. I think there's tiers. I think there's 3 different tiers of important players. You have your 3 starters that close every game no matter what, for the most part. Brunson, Cat, and Anunoby. I know Cat went through a stretch where Mike Brown wasn't playing him down the stretch. I think realistically, the best version of the Knicks has those 3 as like part of the closing lineup no matter what. After watching Mikal Bridges for almost 2 seasons, I think he's in this second tier with Josh Hart, Deuce McBride. Mitch can move up to that tier if his availability comes back and he's like able to play 25 plus minutes. But Mikal Bridges, in all reality, is in that second tier with Josh Hart. Like, what his does on defense is better than Josh Hart, but he doesn't provide the rebounding that Josh Hart does. Like, isn't the playmaker that Josh Hart is. He's a better shooter than Josh Hart, a more willing shooter than Josh Hart, which is why, like, you take some of the good, you take some of the bad, but they're both impactful. They're both flawed. I think Mikal Bridges is better than Josh Hart, but realistically, he's on that second tier which is fine. He can be a fourth best player on a championship team.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the Knicks traded 5 picks for that guy, which colors all the conversation around him. If he was just the fourth best player and in that second tier, and sometimes he closes, sometimes he doesn't, sometimes he like has a big game offensively, sometimes it's a little more muted, a little more quiet, it'd be fine. If the price tag that got him to the Knicks wasn't so lucrative and, you know, handcuffing to any potential pivots that the Knicks might want to make should the season not end the way that they want it to. So I've been able to, and this is the therapy that I've taken in my life, I've been able to go through the steps of what I'm actually frustrated at. And it's that, like, it's not really the Knicks that it's not really Mikal Bridges that I'm actually that frustrated with. It's the Knicks, because he has kind of landed in the spot of where I just laid it out. Like, he's on that second tier. Unfortunately, the Knicks traded for a guy. Like, imagine if the Knicks traded 5 picks for Josh Hart. We'd be even more upset with it, you know?
Please.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Again, for me, it's a sunk cost. So it's like whining about like the picks aren't coming back. They're gone. But I don't know if we can win a championship if he has 5, 5, and 2. Yes, he does things that don't show up in the stat sheet. DJ points out all the time. Shout out to DJ, but he's going through a bit of a slump. Meanwhile, on Twitter, on the Explore page, today's news: Knicks fans turn on Mikal Bridges after West Coast scoring slump, and Knicks fans frustrated with Mikal Bridges scoring slump on road trip. Man, I'm sure, and to your point, I'm sure we and others, our lovely fans and listeners, will have some comments about Mr. Bridges as well.
Right. Listen, if they had traded a pick, 2 picks for him, and he just had these ups and downs, I think the conversation around him just wouldn't be as loud. People would be frustrated with him. Like, they traded a pick and a young player for Josh Hart, and their people are frustrated with him, right? It would never be as what it is now, where it's like, because every time he has these stretches where he's struggling offensively and seems to disappear into the background, it's like, we traded blank for this. Like, an A1 tier guy gets 5 picks traded for him, and they got a tier 2 guy for that price. It's just unfortunately what has been attached to him when talking about him.
The only thing I'll say is, if it was just a pick, I think I saw people denigrating a player who scored 83 points in an NBA basketball game.
Well, yeah, you're right. There would be. I'm talking about us reasonable people that are able to look at the actual place where you should be pointing your anger, and like the conversation around him wouldn't be, man, we're only getting this from Mikal Bridges, and it would probably be a bit more like, all right, yeah, Mikal didn't have it tonight, so they went a different direction and played Deuce or closed with Shamit. Like, that would be fine and understandable. Unfortunately, it's why like the starting 5 conversation always boils down to Josh. And recently, some have started to point to, like, maybe it's Mikal that's actually the guy that should sit, because now you talk about sunk cost fallacy. Like, the picks aren't coming back. Like, I'm with the group that's like, just try something different. I don't know a person that's saying keep the starting 5. I also have a funny feeling Deuce is the guy that's going to end up being the guy that goes into the starting 5, and I think it's a playoff change that gets made. But yeah, I'm choosing not to trash Bridges too much personally tonight.
Yeah, same here.
And I also, like you said, know that we're about to get some super chats as we get to them now, because I fixed it and they're back and available for us to look at. Let's start in the first half with Bill Peterfriend, who just said, "Over it, no words."
How many super chats do we have before the game? Just this one?
Before the game ended?
Yeah. Or like first.
We got a bunch. We got a bunch. In fact, I'll just go through them real quick. So this is Bill Peterfriend. Thank you, Bill. This is from Nick Head. The fact that we could beat this team by 50 or lose by 50, and neither would surprise me, says it all. I don't know what it says. I don't know what it says, but it definitely says something. Let's go Knicks? ? Well, you said Nickhead. It says it all. Then just say something. It says it all. Even though you don't know what it says, it just says it all.
I do not think they could lose to the Jazz by 50. But they could lose to the Jazz, which honestly would feel like losing by 50 because it's the Jazz.
That was it was plus 650 was the Jazz money line before the game tonight. I was staring at it like either that or -4 or plus 14, depending on which version of the Knicks showed up. And I was kicking myself like, man, at least just take a flyer and cash out if you can. This one from Hush Zoo. I'm stunned at how bad Brunson has been last month. This was at halftime. This was sent in. He was playing very poorly in the first half, and then read Hush's super chat that was already posted and was like, "Oh, I'm going to show you," and came out and scored 15 points in the third quarter as the Knicks erased the deficit.
Do you think Brunson's hurt?
No, I also think he's someone that plays through pain better than most. So,
a friend of mine, shout out to Zach Rosenberg. He texted me at halftime. He's like, he thinks Brunson is. He was like, he doesn't think Brunson's moving as well. Maybe has like ankle injury, and we know Brunson rolls his ankle like 3 times a year. I didn't think he's hurt either, but I was like, maybe I'm missing something. But if you don't think so, then fine.
Some of the shots, some of the floaters are short. I will say that. I think he's a smaller guard. That is he 30 yet, or is he 29?
He's 29.
So like, he's older. Like he's not able to. And this is another thing that I just don't think gets counted when assessing his offensive game. He is involved in every action on defense because every team is just hunting him. He's having to rotate. This is the season that everybody was like, oh, Brunson, he's so bad on defense. And so he's taken a pride in actually like being more active, hedging and recovering, moving his feet. And then, oh, by the way, you have to be the engine of the offense on the other side of the floor. So I think there's that part of it too. I thought that third quarter was a nice reminder to everybody that might think that the demise is near. So thankfully he reminded all of us in that second half. Another one from Bill. Starting 5 remains a first quarter issue. Changes? ? Your guess is as good as mine if there's a change coming to we're on a second coach that is in love with the starting 5.
Are we?
Yeah. He's playing it.
That doesn't mean he's in love with it.
Okay, then poor choice of words. Run a second coach that keeps playing the starting 5.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say he's pivoted off of it a few times if it's not working late in games. And you want to talk about the tiers that I'm talking about. Josh Hart is now out of that first tier appropriately and like can sit if he doesn't have it going in games, can sit for longer stretches, doesn't have to play his normal 38 minutes. You can get a look at other pieces. Again, it's a hunch. I think we're getting a starting lineup change in the playoffs, and it will be, I mean, it'll be the one that has the shooting that everybody wants with Deuce. It'll be a little bit. I think we'll get some Mitch lineups when the minutes restrictions are gone. I'm waiting for that Cavs series if it happens, because it's like, okay, Mitchell Robinson, like that's why we put you in bubble wrap all season for this series in particular. A Detroit series, I remain fascinated of 7 games against Detroit and whether the
7.
Well, okay, a best of 7 against Detroit. I know how you feel, but I remain fascinated by playing them in the playoffs is more the thing, because then both teams will be Ice-T in New Jack City, and the joke that Mentz has said, and it's like, it's personal for me. Yes, now it's personal for both of us. Your guess is as good as mine, Bill, if we're getting a starting lineup change in the regular season, though.
I will say this. If we get because John mentioned that he thinks a lineup change will come if they're down in a playoff series. And I would say to that, when he said that, I said to myself, that's what we ran the last coach out for waiting that long. We'll see.
I don't think it'll be down 2-0 when they make the lineup change. I'll say that. I go down 1-0. Maybe it's like what the Dagenhall did, where he makes a starting lineup change before game 1 of the finals. Which,
yeah,
it takes stone to do it.
It does. And it almost bit him in the rear, but
it's also going to be matchup dependent. If they play the Raptors in the first round of the playoffs, we're not going to learn anything. That's going to be an extension of the regular season. I implore people in Toronto to use these words against me. I already have the jokes ready for the 4 games against the Raptors. Thank you, Bill. We got more super chats coming. Shaq the Great 123. I read that right? Shaq the Great 123. Good old Jazz. Knicks fans are hilarious. P.S. That Clarkson playoff game gonna hit like crack. Hashtag LFGK. Knicks fans are indeed hilarious. We will eventually get to a tweet asking us to read someone else's first half tweets. And look, they're living and dying this season. Somebody asked me on Twitter the other day, does this feel like a baseball season where fans are overreacting to every loss, even though there's so much, there's just the regular season is just long. And I said maybe a Yankee season because of how the standard is for the Yankees. But like, I just think this is what comes with firing your head coach after progressing further than you have in 25 years. They said that's not good enough. So the fans in turn are like, anytime you guys don't look like the best team in the NBA or like a title contender, that's not good enough. And it's led to the consternation and the pushback that has come after every loss, you know?
I think the consternation would exist. It will be different consternation if they didn't fire the coach. But I think
that's not part of my evaluation of whether they fired the coach. If they like, the expectations are just as high as they've ever been is more what I'm saying.
Exactly. But we're not alone in that. Like any team who has aspirations of anything is going to, who's like, we think we're one of the 5 best teams in the league. Did you see Pistons Twitter after they blew a 25-point lead to the Nets? Like at home, you know? So that's the stuff I kind of like tune out. Like if you get too high, too low about the sport, any sport, you ain't been in the game long enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Go as someone who like has to investigate all these fan bases for a pregame pod. Like go look at the tweets on Nuggets Twitter or in Nuggets comment sections about Adelman. Go look at the Ime Udoka tweets out there. The one I kept going back to was Spo, that like earlier this season, a lot of Heat fans were just like, what is he doing with Khalil Ware? Norman Powell is not LeBron James and is getting the usage. Like Andrew Wiggins just is taking up valuable development time from Yakichonis. And now they're winning, and he did like the greatest favor of all time for Bam Adebayo last night. And now it's like, oh yeah, that's right. Arguably the best coach in the NBA is on our team. So, yeah, it's a common thing that this happens with a lot of fan bases with expectations. We're just only in our second year of like the season starts in April for this franchise. Thank you, by the way. And then Tony NFL. Notorious Salt Lake City nightlife strikes again. Hey, Michael Jordan learned the hard way about notorious Salt Lake City nightlife, because I don't believe that story about he had food poisoning from a pizza. I think he went out and enjoyed himself and then got hungover or sick or whatever in Salt Lake City.
Can I tell a story about Salt Lake City nightlife?
Please, because I've never been, so you would know better than I would.
I've been once. I went there for work last year, and it was I was there like on a Tuesday night and a Wednesday night, I believe. And listen, downtown Salt Lake City on a Tuesday night, I mean, there's bars that's open, but they all close at 1, and they're very measured on how they on their liquor pours and whatever. And Salt Lake City is, all you need to know is this. James Harden on road trips that involved playing the Jazz, if he had a day off, he'd go to Vegas. But not James Harden, and maybe Harden, but I think Jordan also, because Vegas is an hour flight from Utah, from Salt Lake City. So
there you go.
That's all you need to know.
I think Dennis Rodman was the same way.
Yeah.
As the Last Dance showed us.
Yes.
Tony with another one, and I agree with this. 0 excuses not to go on a 7-game winning streak. Sean, would you like to go through the schedule with me?
Okay. But come on, dog.
Oh, we're doing that?
that?
Sean, would you like to go to the schedule with me? We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 through the schedule for the next couple games. Okay.
Let's do it, dog.
Okay. So they got a game against Indiana on Friday. Do you like that one, Michael?
That is that's their 5th game on a 5-game road trip. And, Indiana does not want to never lose to the Knicks. I actually think that's going to be a loss. I think
you're crazy, Michael. I think you're crazy. That Indiana's trying to lose. They're one of these losers, Michael. All they do is lose. They're going to lose a game on Friday, Michael.
Dog, every time they play them, they act like it's game 7 of the finals.
Those teams aren't there anymore. All right, we did it.
We did it.
So they got their first win of a stretch that Tony's talking about. They played Utah.
Yes.
Indiana on Friday in Indiana. I'm with you in the fear of a 5th game of a road trip. Andrew Nemhard, Pascal Siakam, just, again, taking it personally. We don't lose to the Knicks, especially at home, whatever. Golden State without Steph, I would argue it's a bit of a revenge game.
That's a win.
Sunday night at the Garden, Oscar night as well. That could be a win. Indiana on Tuesday at the Garden. Again, potentially tanking. Brooklyn on Friday with 2 days off in Brooklyn. And then Washington on Friday. Washington on Sunday, New Orleans. Those are 7 games, all against teams with good odds in the lottery right now.
Mm-hmm. They should. Yeah, a 7-game winning streak should absolutely be in play. Absolutely be in play.
So, Tony, here's what I'll say. And this is how I was experiencing last week when they went up to Toronto, took care of business, had already played San Antonio, took care of business, came home to play OKC. Like, I thought they could have won the game, better officiated. Brunson has a better game. Some threes fall that didn't fall. Like, I thought that was like a winnable game. Then they go and blow the doors off of Denver. I was looking at this 7-game stretch and the 2 Lakers games. The Lakers and the Clippers games, and saying, man, they get those 2 LA wins, we might be looking at a 10-game winning streak. So I agree with you that they should absolutely go on a 7-game winning streak. I'm not going to go through the Celtics and the Cavs schedules over that time, but there's a good chance that when they get through that 7-game winning streak and you're looking at this 4-game road trip that is Charlotte in Charlotte, OKC in OKC, Houston and Memphis, you could be going into that Charlotte game as the 2 seed if you take care of business. So let's hope they do it.
Really quickly, as I said, Boston has actually. I'm on our friends at Tankathon. They have the 6th strongest remaining schedule left. The Knicks have the 3rd easiest schedule. Cleveland is 2nd
easiest. Yeah.
So
they have 2 games against Dallas, a game against Indiana. Yeah.
So
I'm gonna let you read a couple of super chats.
Cool.
Here you go.
At TJ2K's burner, thank you for your contribution. Thank God for law of averages. Exactly. And that's why when, again, Utah shoots 34% from 3 as a team this season, and they were 11 of 13. And I'm like, listen, bad defense only goes but so far. I tweeted, yes, they make 12. Utah averages 12.9 threes a game, 20th in the NBA. They shoot 34%. And they were 11 of 13 with 10:32 left in the second quarter. It's like, you just put your hands up and you say, all right, whatever. You got Walter White, you got me. That's it.
Yeah. There's just so much nonsense going on in the first half. Just the
Bryce Sensabaugh,
the buzzer beater, Bryce Sensabaugh hitting everything, like the goaltend, the behind the back pass, like all of it was like, all right, eventually this is going to end and the Knicks are going to win this, but this is annoying. So yes. I felt everybody's annoyance. Next up.
KBN Andor. Rough start, but Cat and the Knicks escaped the mountains, just like RDJ and Iron Man. Shout out Jordan Clarkson and 3 Filipino flags. That's a deep cut. Robert Downey Jr. is RDJ and Iron Man. Rough start. They got out of there. You know, Utah's altitude, not as much as Denver, but it's altitude, and you know, again, back-to-back games in LA, which was also Josh Hart's birthday weekend. So I know they were on some type of bullshit in LA, and I don't blame them. But yeah, they got out of there. I wanted to split in the LA game. That's fine. They got this one. I wanted a split between this game and the next one because, again, 5th game of a 5-game road trip against that Indiana team who's going to be drooling to beat them for what's in shits and giggles. But I'm glad they got this win tonight.
It's going to double check. Does Indiana play tomorrow? Yeah,
they play tomorrow. Yeah, they play tomorrow.
Yeah, they play Phoenix.
Yeah.
So they'll be playing the second night of a back-to-back against the Knicks on Friday.
And I was gonna say something inappropriate about substances that they could consume so they could be charged up for this big game.
I mean, look, maybe they juice themselves up for the game or find ways to get juiced up for the game. We did just watch the Knicks go into Denver on a Friday night, the second night of a back-to-back, and lay belt to ass, as the kids say. Like, I gotta be honest, I don't think Friday's the game that scares me. It's Tuesday. It's the game at the Garden that scares me with Indiana.
I don't. Okay, both games.
Also, hold on. I didn't even look up at the schedule. This is hilarious, by the way. So Indiana was 13-36. They played Atlanta, went 13-36. They lost 4 straight. Then they beat the Knicks in double overtime. Then they beat Brooklyn the next night, sitting everybody, but Brooklyn tanked better. They have lost 10 straight games since then.
Bro, write it down. Write it. I'm telling you.
Let's put chicken wings on it. Let's put wings on it.
Let's put some wings on it.
Okay. Knicks are going to win on Friday.
That game, put it you like this. If I were, okay, I'm on best bets for that game. I'm taking Indiana spread. I'm telling you that right now. You're
off Friday, though. You're off Friday because you did today.
Well, I'm betting with my own money. I'm betting Indiana spread. This reminds me of that game in Charlotte on Black Friday, and I was like, this game stinks like cheese. And everyone, including Kevin Danishevsky, was like, I'm not worried about this game. I'm like, all right, whatever. 5th game of a 5-game road trip against a not good team and I think LaMelo didn't play that game either, and they won by 1. That game stinks. That game absolutely stinks.
I don't look them covering the spread is not crazy to me. Knicks are gonna win on Friday. That's more what I'm guaranteeing.
I'd love to be wrong.
And you know what? Add a drink, and I'll say they cover the spread.
Sure.
Yeah. If they just win, if it ends up being like the Pacers cover but the Knicks win, then I'll buy you a drink while you buy me wings. How's that?
Sure.
That works. Next up, I'm trying to do this in order. Okay, here you
go. Varun Kiwi 007. Thank you for your generous contribution. There's been some considerable consternation amongst the fan base that there's nothing quantifiable to be gained the rest of regular season.
Real quick. This is Varunsky's take. Who this is? I have the big list up here with real names. So, and shout out to Cabian Andor, not Cabian Andor. It's a play on the Andor guy, Cassian Andor. So, yeah, go ahead. Varunsky's take.
Okay. I'll read from the top. There's been some considerable consternation amongst the fan base that there's nothing quantifiable to be gained the rest of the regular season. We're at last seeing signs of growth of JB and Cat's pick and roll chemistry, something to monitor. I don't know if it's not that there's nothing quantifiable to be gained. It's just a lot of us are just get to the playoffs already. If you're going to be on this type of time. It's still it's still time to experiment click lineup, which is like why now would be the time to start messing around with lineups a little bit, but that's not going to happen. But yeah, listen, shout out to Jay Nicky, who had said a few days ago on Twitter, he said, the beginning of the championship DVD is going to start with the loss to the MLK meltdown on to the Mavericks. And I kind of pushed back. I said I think the DVD will start with game 1 against Indiana. But there is something about that MLK meltdown that I think they all challenged each other to just be better at the things they need to be better at. And to like when Kat says, I don't know, when said all the time, I don't know what my role is. You know what I said to myself? Bullshit. You know exactly what your role is. You just don't like it. Like, so I think now it seems as if since that MLK day, they realized, like, listen, if you are serious about winning, we need to be better at these things. And this is one thing, you're right. This is something for us to monitor.
I think the championship DVD starts with, like you said, game 1 against Indiana.
Yeah.
I'm also very happy that we're still talking about DVDs in 2026. It makes the movie fan and the physical media fan in me very happy. I have a large collection of DVDs that I stopped adding on to because I don't even have a DVD player anymore. But yeah. I am here for finding different things to still take away from in the rest of the regular season. The NBA Cup's going to be part of the DVD and then them winning the Shooting Stars competition will be part of the DVD. I was texting Bryce Simon from the Pistons Pulse from Game Theory today. And I asked, like, how's the Detroit fan base? Like, how's your comment section dealing with the Pistons' recent 4-game losing streak? And he said, like, my biggest takeaway was wasn't as negative as I thought it would be, but still pretty negative. And we just both agreed, like, we've collected enough data. Like, we're all ready for the playoffs. Like, it's different in Detroit where you kind of know what your seed is. You're obviously trying to still maintain a chance at home court against OKC, home court against San Antonio. Like, you're trying to have as good a record as possible. I know I'm feeling it. Like, get as good a seed as possible and get me to April 15th. That's really where I am at the moment.
Yeah.
So
for me, the most quantifiable thing is seeding. Like,
yeah,
I want to be the 2 seed. And it's not because I want to avoid any specific matchup. It's I want to have home court advantage in the first 2 rounds.
Bingo.
That's what I want. And then Detroit, if they get there, you know, we'll cross that bridge. We'll cross that bridge. But I want home court advantage the first 2 rounds.
I agree. Thank you, Varinsky. 2 from your friend and the guy I tolerate.
Kevin Anishevsky, good old AC/Sean. Have watch parties when I could attend, please. JC is a perfect situational player. McCall, terrible. Cat, amazing. JB, found in 3rd. I'll work backwards. JB, correct. Cat, correct. McCall, correct. JC, correct. Have watch parties when you can attend. No one man has all that power.
One man does, though.
No, not even. Like, it's. By the way, shout out to everyone who came out on Sunday for the watch party. It was amazing.
Agreed.
We had everything except the Knicks win. But Kevin, the schedule of the opponent determined the watch parties. Like, we're not throwing watch parties for Wizards games or Pacers games. We want watch parties where, and by the way, all you motherfuckers who are whining about curses and don't have watch parties and this, that, and third, listen, if we had watch parties against the Jazz on a Tuesday, you're not coming. We have to do watch parties for opponents that you want to see. Detroit, the Lakers, the Magic, the who's the first one we do? Miami. And by the way, the Knicks won their first 2 games. We had watch parties, so you can put that in your pipe and smoke it. When
you said curses, I thought you were talking about actual profanity. There is a very funny moment at the watch party on Sunday, which again was brunching with Brunson. So we sold out. Every table was occupied. A lot of people at the bar. A lot of people. We got to meet Rebecca. At least I got to meet Rebecca. Kaz stopped through. Nick Nader was in the building. Our buddy Omar was there. Like, well attended. Chris Persianen, took a break from the Knicks beat to say hello to all of us, right?
Yeah.
Like, great party. Wives and kids were there too. Like, like the Macris were there. My wife was in attendance. Your wife and child were in attendance. And at around halftime, you made an announcement that it's time for we're gonna
raffle.
First half is coming to an end, and you just go raffle time, motherfucker. And then you just turn around and you see a table full of children, and you're like, oh, raffle time, people. And it was the funniest thing, like realizing you were in an adult location, but there were children present. It was just very funny.
Can I actually tell you
Please.
a selfish story? I knew that my wife and son had stepped out for a bit. So, because I was like, oh, Zach's not here.
Yeah.
I could say it. And as I said it, and I could see Scarlett, Ray,
yeah, both of John's
Izzy,
kids. And
I
you're
was
just like motherfucker.
Earmuffs.
Yeah, we got a healthy laugh at that over at the at our table. Yeah, thank you everybody for coming, and thank you, Sean, for planning it so Kevin couldn't. One more from Mr. Danishevsky.
What idiot would have won in Macau? Not me.
Speaking of bets that involve wings, yeah, I might just be able to pay for our bet with Kevin's wings, Sean. Don't worry. For those who don't,
what bet did you have with Kevin?
It's Mikhail has to finish higher than 15th in all defense. Yeah. So if he finishes like 14th, like just misses an all defense team, I said he's not even a third defense team this year, and Mikhail's like, and Kevin was like, he's gonna finish first or whatever. So
can me and you eat the wings in front of Kevin?
I'm down. Sure.
All right.
Because I told him that I don't know if I'll be able to go to every watch party. So the bet is if Mikhail finishes 15th in the top 15 for all defense voting, then we will buy him. Knicks Film School will buy him wings at a Knicks Film School watch party during the playoffs. If he finishes below that, he has to buy you wings, like specifically you, not me, wings. But I'll get in on it for sure. Yes. Next up, we have thank you, Kevin, by the way, for the contributions. I joke with you, sort of. Next up, we have one from a friend. Go ahead.
Jessica Elsner, good to see you. And thank you for your contribution. That Carl fella really has turned his season around. Defense creates offense. The more they lock in on D, the better they look. Great team. Let's go, Knicks. I'll say this team has allowed in the past its poor shooting, especially its three-point shooting, to dictate its effort to other places. There's lightning outside. I was scared because I thought it was another earthquake because I live in Westchester, which had Delver earthquake the other day. They did not let their poor three-point shooting really affect their effort in the LA games. But they have they have had that happen to them in the past. But listen, I said it all season. They know what they have to do to win. It's whether they feel like doing it or want to do it. Simple as that.
Cosign every word. Jessica, thank you so much. We've got a couple from Chris Carter, whose handle is Music in My Pocket. He starts with this one. I'll read it. Can you please reread your tweets from after the first quarter? This is meant for John, as he then clarifies. Sorry, Andrew, that was for John. So we're going to honor this exercise and read Jonathan Macri's tweets from the first quarter. So I'll just start here.
I'm curious to see where you're going to start from because I have his tweets up here also. Woo, boy.
So there's Josh Hart is out tonight, and he quote tweets Bondi with "Rest up, Josh."
Yes.
Then Bondi also tweets out Landry Shamet will start. He retweeted that. Then at 9:21 p.m. Eastern, John goes, early on, Knicks have indeed brought their bullshit with them from LA. Then at 9:29, so 18 minutes later, wouldn't you know it, but Josh Hart wasn't the problem with the starters.
All right. Before you continue, when I saw that tweet, I went to our betting and sweating group chat and I just said, I pasted it there and I said, John. And shout out to all the people who reply like, oh, this 6-minute sample size against a team that's shooting 85% from three is going to be the just like John, we see you.
I don't think he's justifying that. Like, I don't think he's justifying that the starting lineup shouldn't change. He's saying it's not just a Josh Hart problem. And I agree. It's not just a Josh Hart problem, as we just had a 20-minute conversation about Mikal Bridges and what he actually is. Would the easiest person to bench or move to the bench be Josh Hart? Yes, because of agendas and egos and whatever the thing is. But like, I actually co-sign this, that it's like, see, it's not just remove Josh, everything's fixed. This is a team that plays on serious from time to time for 6 minutes, for 600 minutes at a time. That's more what I think he's getting at.
And if you believe that, I have a bridge in Brooklyn I'd love to sell you.
Well, I know he loves Josh Hart. Who are you talking to, Sean?
I'm just saying, if Mikal Bridges did not start tonight, and we've never seen what that looks like because he's literally never missed an NBA game, and if Mikal didn't play and Josh did, and they had his outcome, something tells me we would not have gotten the same tweet. Call me crazy. Jonathan, I love you. But
I do think he was trying to get this exact reaction from you.
Of course.
I also think like there is truth to what he's saying, that like everybody that comes into our post game every game and is like, just remove Josh Hart. He's a 20-minute player. I heard on this. Like, it's not just a Josh Hart problem. This team has a tendency to play on serious regardless of who it is. And like you said, they feel out games. You know, I maintain that it could be a Mikal Bridges to the bench is the actual move. But I also think we're getting Deuce McBride for Josh in the playoffs at some point, and everybody will be happy. Well, except John. Then he goes a little bit later at 9:43 p.m. Embarrassing, shameful, insulting first quarter from the Knicks. Don't care that Utah made all their threes. Inexcusable to not be up double digits on the Jazz, let alone go down 14 after giving up 40. Just impossible to trust this team. I was feeling it.
I think that's like, I don't know. I just won't give up on this team. I'm not going to say I don't trust them. Like, it's not impossible to trust them. It's not impossible to trust them when we literally saw them beat Jokic and the Nuggets by 45 points. Like, you can't, it's like, it's hard to say, like, you can't trust them. Like, because guess what? You know who won't be in the playoffs? Bad teams like Utah.
The Jazz. There. We can trust them because we won't have to worry about Utah. You're right.
Hey, listen, sometimes people play to their level of competition.
I understand people not trusting this team, is what I'll say. I don't know how much, like the trust rankings that you did a couple weeks ago, I do think that's how you have to trust this team. It's player by player. Like, I trust Brunson, I trust Anunoby, I trust versions of Cat, I trust versions of, honestly, I think most versions of Josh Hart. He just consistently showed up in the postseason. Even Mikal, like, I trust versions of him in the postseason. I understand anybody that's like, every time I decide to jump out the window with them, I land flat on my face. And every time I give up on them, they go off and, like you said, beat Denver by 40. You know, they sleepwalk they slug their way through a Detroit series. And you're like, all right, I'm done with this, whatever. They upset one of the biggest upsets in NBA history by odds. They beat the Celtics, and you're like, okay, like, I'll believe in you. Fine, I trust you guys. And then they have that game in game 1 against Indiana. Like, this is just the roller coaster that exists, which is why I understand people that find it hard to trust them. I lean more you. They're a very good basketball team.
I think hard to trust and impossible to trust are two different things.
Fair. But in the moment, I'm sure that's how he felt, which is why we're reading his tweets from the first quarter.
Yes. All right, let's continue.
Really rough first half for Jalen Brunson, who is 1 for 6 with 8 points. This is from Bondi, and John quote tweets it with awful on both ends. And then John goes, this is at halftime at 10:16 p.m. Worst half of Jalen Brunson's season, but the last few minutes were particularly egregious. Taking tough shots instead of feeding Cat, who the Jazz cannot stop. I agree.
So I'm gonna say
we said that too.
Well, no, I mean, in the past there were times where I was like, maybe Jalen's dribbling the ball too much. It's like, well, he hits shots all the time. It's like, all right.
Yeah, that's something I'm just gonna let you take up with John at this point. I've also been critical. I don't, when he says stuff, I'm able to, like, oh, it's John reacting. Like, he's emoting,
I understand. This is John reacting. Like, John's human, so
yeah. But despite popular opinion, he is a human, a mad one, a madman, as one might say. Let's do our stat of the game.
Yes.
Shout out to Jonah, who sent us this stat. 27 points for Jordan Clarkson is the stat of the game. This was Jordan Clarkson's season high in his homecoming in Utah. He played 26 minutes tonight, a top 10 number on the season, and his most minutes since Christmas. His 3 main threes tonight was only the second time since New Year's that he made more than one. And his 15 field goal attempts is his third most of the season. He ended with 5 offensive rebounds, which ties a career high that he set back in 2018. So
when I was researching my picks for betting and sweating, I wanted to pick Jordan Clarkson over props. But because of Jonte Porter, those props aren't available because they're not going to offer props. They're not, sportsbooks are not always going to offer props for players who are on the fringes of a rotation. So I lost out there, but props, shout out to Jordan Clarkson. Nice video from the Utah Jazz. Nice tribute video for him. And shout out to you, Jordan Clarkson. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
That's a veteran performance these past couple of days between the Laker game and now this one, where he stayed ready, and he'd be part of the reason they won tonight. All right, let's get through the next bunch. This is you.
I am AK Legend. Thank you for your contribution. JC, I love you. How's everyone feeling about the Alvarado experience? Also, random thought of starting 5 not so great. How about JB, Shamit, OG, Mitch, and Cat? Oh, so goodbye, Hart and Bridges.
Oh, that solves everything.
I mean, no.
So just, I think what's made, I think the Cat needs to, the Mitch needs to start thing is gone. Like, during the regular season, it's just not an option. There's some, I forget what his name was. It's someone on the putback today or yesterday pointed out that, like, you think the Josh Hart lineup is starting 5 is bad. Like, the Shamit instead of Bridges or the Shamit instead of Hart. No, the Shamit instead of Bridges lineup is good. The Shamit instead of Hart lineup is not, like, very good at all. Right. Shamit's been great off the bench this year. I actually think he's been like a solid 6th, 7th man this year in that role. I maintain this is a Deuce McBride conversation that we're having. Like, Deuce McBride comes back, he's healthy, and he's as effective as he's been the last 2 years, really 2.5 years. That can be your 5th starter against certain teams.
How possible do you think it would be that you mentioned it earlier that Mike Brown will alter the starting lineup based on matchups? Because, like, for example,
let's go through the matchups. What one would you want Deuce McBride being in the starting lineup for?
Okay, so, like, if they play Toronto first round, I think they could have you at shooting guard and they'd win.
Start the rookies. Start the summer league lineup. Yeah.
Like, if they play Detroit, I don't know if Deuce in the starting lineup is a good idea, right? Yeah. So that's out. All right. If they play Boston again, not especially with Tatum back now, the size
so what you're hinting at is like so for example, we were calling for the Deuce change last year in the playoffs to guard Halliburton, and then Caitlin Cooper made the same observation that while it's the Knicks never stopped Halliburton the year before when they were the 6th seed, like the most difficult moments that Halliburton had in that series was when he was guarded by Deuce McBride, and The Knicks just never went to that last year. Like it was just okay. Bridges, you take a turn. OG, you take a turn, and he's just bringing Cat and Brunson into every pick and roll. Like Josh Hart as well. Even when they went to the starting five with Mitch, like that just made it. Oh, so he's got 2 centers that he's going to get to put in rotation on pick and roll going forward as they're, leaking out and taking advantage of the very slow team you put out there. So, like Maxey not being there takes that off the table.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cleveland.
Cleveland's the one, which ironically, it's like that's where IMAK Legends idea comes into play. If Bridges isn't effective, you go Deucin and Mitchin, and you get to take advantage of their double bigs by putting Mitch out there, and you put Deuce out there to guard either Harden or Deuce in there to help guard Mitchell with Anunoby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
man.
Yeah, I think that would make sense. Everything else, like Orlando, I don't care. Miami, whatever, fine, whatever. But it's really, for me, it's like against Cleveland, I like it. Against Toronto, yes, but Toronto doesn't matter. But like against the team, although interestingly enough, I mean, now that Cleveland has a 6'6" guard who is annoying to play basketball against, but then again, that 6'6" guard not only will wet the bed when the last game of the season rolls around, but he'll get frustrated because the same BS he can't get that he's got away with in the regular season, he doesn't get away with in the postseason as much. So
yeah.
But yeah, I think this lineup is this lineup. I'm AK Legend is a Cleveland lineup, if anything.
And I think it's for what we're saying. Instead of Shaman, it's a Deuce thing.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not gonna say it's your starting 5. It should play like that. I know the starting 5 has been their biggest issue for 2 years now at this point. So maybe it could close. It could start. Especially under this coach, it absolutely could close. So thank you, IMAK. Good conversation starter. That one.
Absolutely.
Next is Mr. Crockett.
Dave, thank you, Mr. Crockett, for your generous contribution. Benji promised the Clarkson game would hit like crack. It hit more like your favorite drink on a really thirsty day, and that ain't half bad. I take umbrage of this comment because I am the one that said they'll hit like crack. And just to double check, I searched Benji's tweets to see if he tweeted anything hitting like crack ever in his life, and he didn't, which doesn't surprise me if you know Benji, right? But yeah, this the wait for the playoffs. Like you're gonna see this game in the playoffs against Detroit if they make it that far. But yeah, this again, the shout out to Jason M, who said this on Study Hall last season. Championship teams are paved with stories from unsung heroes. And that was one of his biggest criticisms of Tibbs not being more flexible with his lineup, is because like you always have teams like I always remember the Leon Powell game in 2008 for the Celtics against the Lakers. Like you will have these guys who come out of nowhere. The Kelly Olynyk game against the freaking Wizards in Game 7 in like 2012, whenever the hell it was. Like you need
it was 2018. It's 2017. It's 2017.
Your memory's amazing.
Well, because Isaiah Thomas was their best player, right?
Yes.
And then he gets hurt, and they lose by 1,000 points in 5 to the Cavs, and then they trade him for Kyrie the next year.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, you need unsung heroes. You need guys like so. That's why you're gonna get Alvarado contributing, Diawara, Clarkson, maybe even Kolek, which Kolek seems to have a toe in the rotation. Like, hey, I'm not done yet. So yeah, absolutely. But that game will hit like crack, and when it does, I will be there to celebrate it.
I love how you search Benji's. Like you said, he's never said this in his life. Like not just on Twitter. Never said it on Twitter.
Never said it in his life on Twitter.
I don't know if I remember him saying it on the air either. And on that note, I'm just going to say, Benji, we love you. And
we love you, Benji.
We know it's been a difficult couple weeks and months. I do believe that there may be an appearance from Benji Ritholtz in the soon not too distant future. I'll just leave that at that. Stay tuned to the Knicks Film School YouTube channel and our Twitter account. We may be seeing Benji pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. Next up from Blue Flags.
Ironically, it was Tibbs who used to say the regular season is just prep for the playoffs, but that's all it really is. It's good that they're gelling, and it's okay that they're still gelling in March. So it was prep. Tibbs did use the regular season to prep for the playoffs, but it was more along the lines of like reps, doing the same thing. Like the more reps you get, it's almost like the Malcolm Gladwell theory of 10,000 hours. Like you just keep doing the same thing over and over, you get really good at it. So, and if a game didn't go the way you wanted to, what he would say was the effort there, was the execution there. And it's like, all right, but after a while, the execution ain't there for a while. Maybe it's because this is just not working. So both coaches are using the regular season as playoff preparation. It's just that they're going about it in different ways.
Yeah, Mike Brown's using it to find out how far into his roster he can find value. And Tibbs had like a set group that he wanted to be as prepared, like an army general, you're going to do this so many times repeatedly. So that way in the most high leverage of moments, you'll be ready, which is why game 1 against Indiana will always haunt me. And I know it will haunt him because it was like, you guys have been up 14 before and just had to not do dumb shit down the stretch. Like one less dumb thing and the Knicks win game 1, and then who knows what happens. But yeah, I agree that they're exploring it in different ways. I don't even think one way is better than the other. I think they're just different, and we're gonna see if this version with Mike Brown takes them as far and maybe even farther in the playoffs this year. But
I think one way is better.
You do?
Yeah, I think the Mike Brown approach is better. And I think that because what they say, if you do what you've always done, you get what you've always gotten. So it's like, all right, after your 30 or 4 years, like you're still doing the same thing. And it's just like, well, it's like, well, if you get it right, then it'll work. It's like, well, why aren't they getting it right? And that's what you have to explore. Instead of just saying, well, if we keep doing this, eventually we'll get through. It's like, well, sometimes you may not get through. Look, my favorite football team wants to be a draft and develop team. They don't want to, and then finally they're like, you know what? Maybe we got to do something different. Like, let's trade for Max Crosby and then get cold feet and then rescind the trade and then go sign Trey Henderson. But like, if you keep doing the same thing and like, you get what you've always gotten. So I'm try different things, see what works, and then once you try, if you try like 12 methods and then you see like, okay, 4 of them are good, then you can work on these 4 instead of just working on one, and then you have no contingency plan. Or your contingency plan is, hey, DeLon Wright, I know I've put you in bubble wrap since you got here, but guess what? Come save our season. Like that's just poor. That's piss poor planning.
I don't want to have a Tibbs. I don't want to have the same Tibbs fight we keep having.
No, it's not a Tibbs. It's not a Tibbs thing. It will be anybody.
But like you keep using the Indiana examples anytime we talk about it not working, as if they weren't so prepared to beat Boston, because Boston, like, they were a team that only had one strategy, and Tibbs was like, we know how to beat that one strategy because we've been practicing behind the scenes how to beat it all year. Like, we're gonna play the 3-point variance game, and it worked. They went 25 for 100 in game 1 and 2. But like, I just refuse to go with the narrative that Tibbs's way failed completely. Like, it didn't work because he had a bad series against Indiana, right? Like, it worked against Boston. It kept getting them further and further into the playoffs each year. I am happy that they're now treating the regular season like data collection and not like it's like putting the wear and tear that's unnecessary on guys when you have as much talent. And we're discovering what we have with Tyler Kolek and Diawara and Shamit, and we got a Kevin McCullough game, and the ways we've found to win games during the regular season. they were 2 wins away from going to the finals last year. Like that wasn't I think they should have or could have beaten Indiana. Some weird shit also happened in game 1 that I don't fully blame on Tibbs, that I don't think you can fully say, like, because he didn't play DeLon Wright, who couldn't buy a bucket for the rest of the series, or really Landry Shamit's the big one, that he's the season was lost because he wasn't flexible enough. Like, a lot of things went wrong why they didn't win that series. And part of it was also the Indiana Pacers were really good and almost won the title despite being not having home court in their last 3 playoff rounds.
I don't want to relitigate the Tibbs thing either. All I'll say is that, like you say, I cannot and I would not blame it all on Tibbs. But there were, like, to win a championship, you have to beat 4 teams, 4 games out of 7.
Mm-hmm.
And those 4 teams are not going to play the same way. And I think the Knicks had enough evidence to see that against Indiana, you know what they're going to do? They're going to play 10 guys. They're going to play 11 guys. They're going to tire you out. And maybe your response isn't you know what? I'm going to play less guys. But I don't want to really litigate that.
They almost won game 1 doing that, by the way.
Oh, you know what almost counts in? Horseshoes and hand grenades.
Right, but realize the margin between your argument standing and falling apart. Like,
I have something else I could go to, but we will fall down a rabbit hole, and it is.
Where are you going to end the Miami
1:14? No, it is 1:14 a.m., and I don't want to go down a rabbit hole.
We're here. Hold on. No. What are we doing?
No, I don't want to. I don't really relitigate the whole Tibbs thing again. I don't want.
You can't leave the audience hanging like that. What else do you want to go to?
No, I mean, you're still in drop, even though Aaron Nesmith has turned into Klay Thompson, and you're still in drop coverage.
So some of that is we just watched the night where bullshit exists on the where Utah's hitting everything, right?
Yes.
Like, they were going under screens, yes, but at a certain point, Nesmith going 6 for 6 from 3 in 2 minutes is just, like, not the coach's fault. Like, we're doubling Nesmith suddenly, like, getting the ball out of his hands. So look, if whatever thing you want to do,
not doubling him, but like, again, like, going under screens, being in drop, it's like, all right, look, the dude has flame shooting out of his rear end. So
right.
for the next 3 minutes, let's try. Like,
I think you had Anunoby on him, and it was like, get a stop. That I got to be honest, I don't have as much. Like, it's not like they were in drop and he was hitting it on Cat. He was in. He was. I don't want to relitigate the last 2 minutes.
So I said,
but like, you could blame that on Tibbs. Fine. OG Anunoby grabbed the ball. Brunson, don't throw it away when you get an inbounds pass. Like, yes. OG Anunoby hit a free throw. Cat hit a free throw. Like, I have so many things to just be like, but like, one of those things happens, and Tibbs' way that we're saying didn't work wins game 1, playing 8 guys. You know, like, that's more what I'm pointing to. Like, that's the margin between, like, oh, it didn't work, and he didn't put DeLon Wright in bubble wrap and didn't play Shamet for 2 series, even though he didn't play him against the Celtics and they won. Like, the margin was very small. I repeat, I am happy that in 2026 I get to watch Diawara and 9 guys play tonight. Eventually 14 guys play tonight. Like, we're getting more blowouts by finding margins on the roster. I don't think last year was so like a doomed process from the beginning. It almost made it to the finals if a 1 in 200,000 or whatever the odds were of having a 14-point lead with 3 minutes left. If that goes a different way, we're game 7 in the Garden, you know?
And then if they lose game 7 at home.
Oh, bro, I didn't want to think about that.
So
I don't want to think about that.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? Now we're going off the rails. The year before, when they played the Pacers, and everyone was like, if Andrew Nembhard doesn't hit that 3, they're up 3-0. They're up 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
I said this on the air. I'm like, them losing that game may have been a blessing in disguise, because I wouldn't have put it past them to blow a 3-0 lead against that team.
With no Anunoby?
Yeah, simply because of all the injuries and stuff. It's like, all right, yeah, you're up 3-0, but now you're down to, especially since like Jalen ended up breaking his hand. Like it was like as a fan of the only man, as a
that's where
fan,
that PTSD comes in.
no,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
as a man who is a fan of the only non-hockey team to blow a 3-0 lead in the playoffs, a lot of weird things have to happen for that lead to come back, and a lot of weird things are happening to the Knicks.
I don't put it past them. Fine. I think the Knicks win in 5. Like if they win game 3. If they win that game. And so here's where the actual place I thought you were going to go to, where like the rabbit hole of blaming Tibbs. He started Precious in game 3 and 4 against Indiana that year. If he goes to the Deuce starting 5, maybe they win game 4, maybe win the game 3, maybe game 4 they get blown out, and then they win by 30 in game 5, and they're playing Boston. Like that's the actual coaching decision that I've always like of the Tibbs era completely. Yeah. Or I'm just like, man, you went back to the Precious 5, which is just like teams figured that out very quickly. You know, you had him starting next to Josh Hart in a playoff series, and it let Indiana back in the series. So, yeah.
Thank you all for watching us relitigate the Tom Thibodeau experience for.
So what else are we gonna do at 100 minutes into this pod?
I thought this show could be done in an hour. That's my fault.
There was no chance. Yeah, you're on a 2-person pod in a championship season. I'll read the next bunch. Hutch Zoo with another one. A good recovery from Cap. J Mac. I'm tired of 25 disappearing for weeks and weeks. Never goes for loose balls. Lack of effort. Hope he's out of NY.
Somebody texted me, I want Bridges out of here during the game.
Bro, that's every
a friend
text
of
I
not
get.
someone KFS, someone's close to me. It's funny. The not going for loose ball isn't lack of effort; it's fear of injury. What if? I wonder what would happen if, for whatever reason, Mikal Bridges had to miss one game, and obviously the streak ends. And like, would his approach change once he realized he doesn't have this streak?
Mm-hmm.
I think
he's gonna play every game of his career. This is who he is.
Well, honestly, things happen, stuff happens. He can roll an ankle, he can, whatever. But
rolling an ankle would require making contact with somebody else.
No, I mean you could like jump and land on someone's foot, and you're going for a rebound and land on someone's foot, whatever. Like,
but noticeably, when he jumps, he makes sure it's when nobody else is around. I'm fucking around, Sean. I'm fucking around.
I was about to say, am I got Zapruder film this to look
right.
And look, whatever. Like, it's you gotta take the goat with the bad at this point. Like, he's on our team. He's gonna be on our team for the rest of the season. We need him to win. If we don't win the championship after the season, then discussions could be had.
I also maintain, if you just recontextualize how you think about him, he's a tier 2 player. It becomes much easier when he has games like this, and it's like, all right, we didn't have everybody in tier 2. It's more tier 1 guys that we have to focus on, and just sucks we traded what we traded, which is where the frustration comes from for a tier 2 guy. But tier 2 guys are important to teams too. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Next one from Robert Cross. Thank you, Robert. Always good to hear from you. Hi, Legend GMAC. I am sorry for issuing a false starting lineup report. That was wrong. Also, I will do it again, smiley face. I got tweeted at before the game to do an emergency live stream because Mohamed Diawara was starting for Josh Hart. Don't even think Robert knew Josh Hart was like out with an injury. He just was like, breaking news, Mohamed Diawara is in place of Josh Hart. And then we got like minutes later, the report that Shamet was starting instead.
Robert Cross being a rabble rouser? No.
Never happened.
My Robert Cross.
Yeah. Thank you, Robert. Hope you're doing well. Kevin Danishevsky, I will read this one. Call me crazy, but is Cat making an all-NBA late push? What do you think?
I think he always should have been in the conversation.
Really?
Because when I think about he made the, like, when people were like shocked he made the All-Star team, I'm like, well, he leads the league in rebounding and he has the most double-doubles in the league and he scores 20 points a game. Like, why would this shock you? See, I mean, especially since now that all NBA is positionless. I mean, I don't like being in a conversation. This means, all right, we're at 13. I'm gonna write down there's five spots here. I'm gonna write down 10 to 15 names, and his name is gonna be written down. That's what I say. That's what I mean when I say he should have been involved always. I don't think he's gonna make All NBA, but he's absolutely playing better. But I just don't think he's one of the 15. Like, but then again, listen, actually, well, Tyrese Maxey's probably not gonna make All NBA if he doesn't play the rest of the season. That's a spot that's available. Yeah. If you were talking about sprained ankles, God forbid, but like SGA rolls an ankle by accident, that might be it for him.
Jokic.
I think Jokic, like
Wemby.
there's a chance.
So where I'm going to, so I have a note on my phone that I keep track of, and I try to like update it like once a week. I don't know if everybody can see it, but like it's the notes app, and I have first team SGA, Jokic, Wemby, Cade, and then I have Kawhi. I could see someone making an argument for Jaylen Brown. I could see someone making an argument for Donovan Mitchell. I could see someone making an argument for Jalen Brunson. Those are the first five. Then Jaylen Brown, Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson, Luka, and I had Tyrese Maxey's name there. I will now erase Tyrese Maxey's name and say Durant. Although, just to double check, has Maxey played 65 games so far this
Maxey's
year?
played 61.
So he needs to play 4 more games.
He's played 4 more games, but he's going to be reevaluated in 3 weeks from today.
Okay, so let's just put Kevin Durant on second team, which then means for third team in All NBA, you got Chet, you got Jalen Duren, you got LaMelo Ball, you got Con Knipple, you got Jamal Murray, you got pick someone in Toronto, you got like.
Do I have to?
I'm just like if you wanted to, like for candidates, right? I guess. Oh, you know what? Hold on, I didn't say Ant Edwards before. Hold on, that's on me. So Ant Edwards goes on second team, and put Kevin Durant with Chet, right? So all the names I mentioned, and then you got like Derek White and Karl Anthony Towns, and yeah, Kevin, to your point, like he gets his scoring average up, and the Knicks get the 2 seed, and like they got a top 5 defense, and both he and Brunson are like part of the reason they're successful. Yeah, there's a case. It's absolutely a push.
And Wemby can only miss 3 more games this season.
So what's he played so far?
He's played 51.
Is that including the NBA Cup?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. So
does that count?
So that's what we discovered on the pregame pod last week, that because the NBA Cup actually does count towards games played.
Yeah.
So if your team makes the NBA Cup, you get an extra game. So like Brunson adds an extra game to his total of games played. So Mikal can play 83 games this year because he played in the NBA Cup. But it doesn't count toward anything else.
According to our friends at Basketball Reference, he has played, and this says 51. It doesn't include NBA, so it's 52. So he can miss 4 more.
So he can miss 4 more. Okay.
He can miss 4 more.
Yeah, we'll see. I think the Knicks would have to be like a team thing where like the Knicks would have to get a 2 seed, and it could just have to be so clear that Cat elevated his game post All-Star break and was like why they charged through to get the 2 seed. Thank you, Kevin. All right, let's cruise through the rest of these. Armand, me, John, and Frank have never hated on Cat. Yeah. Sure.
That sound you heard was Armand's nose growing exponentially.
Thank you, Armand. Speaking of Frank from Patreon. What's up, fellas? It's your boy Frank from Patreon. Since the team is in the holy state of Utah, can Father Bridges renounce his holy vow of celibacy so he can start embracing physical contact? His penance is the bench and 3 Our Fathers. Thank
Nobody,
you, brother Frank from Patreon. Go ahead.
nobody in the Knicks Film School community hates on any player better than Frank Miranda. Like, it is, Frank, I'm not being facetious. Your slander is second to none.
Yep.
Keep it up.
Yep. I look forward to every single Frank from Patreon tweet. Honestly, the study halls where once you get Frank saying like he is trash, just fill in the blank for who he is. Like Cat, RJ Barrett, who you name it, trash. Next town hall at end of the month, by the way, end of March. But yeah, Frank, thank you for the contribution. This is very generous, and we'll see you in the Holy Land in the future. I don't know how to talk about the Nation of Islam that we've created. That's like the version of it that is also rooting for the Knicks, where he's like Honorable Minister Macri when it was like we're the only ones that actually believe in Cat. I'm going so far away with this reference. Thank you, Frank, for the super chat. Jason M. I previously mentioned the biggest key to the turnaround on defense was Cat and JB just being decent. Cat has maintained, but JB has regressed. I thought there were some possessions today where I saw him moving, and that's the biggest thing. He's always going to have the physical limitations. I didn't think he regressed today. Maybe the last couple days he has, but I see him moving, which is the biggest thing. He's not as much of a traffic cone as he used to be,
Yeah.
And the charges he's been drawing has just been so essential to their turnaround lately,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he played very well against Denver. Someone had pointed out that he did a very good job of like when they would switch Jokic on him, he wouldn't do like, the switch whatever to get it back. And he used his size to his advantage. I think he got a couple strips of like Jokic when he put the ball on the ground. Like, just don't be, to your point, just don't be a cone. I don't need you to be Fred VanVleet. Just don't be a cone. Like, don't like put up resistance. Like, be average. Just be average. If you're average, it makes everyone's jobs easier.
Thank you, Jason. Chris Carter with another one. Last week we were singing white girl empowerment pop music. I want that feeling back. Chris, it sounds like you're staring at the blank page before you. You just need to open up that dirty window. Let the sun illuminate the world that you cannot find reaching so closely in the distance. So close that you could almost taste it. Just release your inhibition.
I don't know if I should be impressed or mortified that you knew that off the top of your head.
So when I jumped on Friday to sing it, because they were singing it in the Knicks locker room, and it was like the same song that Jeremy referenced when he was confronting John about crashing out.
Yes.
I started singing it and I like knew none of the words. And I may or may not have like felt shame and was like, damn it, I'm gonna go listen to this song a couple times and make sure I remember it. And lo and behold, the opportunity to re-sing it came up on a post-game show. Thank you, Chris. Robert Cross, this is for you.
Hi, Sean. I miss you in study hall, but not Kevin's meandering monologues that are often too long. Hope all is well with Zach with an H. I'll return when my brain works. Well, Mr. Cross, you have not missed. Unfortunately, we have not had study hall the last 2 weeks because of schedules and overlap and schedules and conflicts. We don't do study hall on weekends when the Knicks. We don't do study hall on days when the Knicks play, and the Knicks they played Saturday and Sunday 2 weeks ago, and then last week between the watch party and everything, we just couldn't squeeze it in. But thank you, and all is well with Zach with an H. And in fact, it's just now it is March 12th. I will take the time out to say that Zach with an H tomorrow, March 13th, turns 10.
Hey, happy birthday, Zach.
So I want to be the first to say, Zachary, happy birthday. You're the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, and I am proud to be your father. Happy birthday.
Should have ended like that, damn it. That was awesome.
Well, I was gonna end with that, but then he brought it up now here, so
Thank you, Robert.
I feel like it was a good time.
Robert with 2 more, by the way.
Well, first time, long time. It's your boy John. Discuss my 11-man
playoff rotation.
Playoff rotation. Brunson, Deuce, Bridges, OG, Cat, Hart, Mitch, Diawara, Shaman, Alvarado, Clarkson. Okay, we'll discuss your 11-man playoff rotation. It's not going to happen.
No, there we discussed it. What was the last way he ended the last tweet? I'll return my brain work. Stick to that plan, Robert. 11-man play. Did you not watch the Cavs? Like they went into the playoffs last year with 10 men, and then they experimented all season, and they just had no consistent thing that they knew always worked. Yeah, I know my 9, and I could shorten to 8 at some point in the postseason. I know my 9 though, and it doesn't include Jeremy Sohan. That's the only joke I'll get off today. Okay. Another one from Robert. I'll let you read this.
First time, long time. It's your boy John. I recall certain KFS community member drooling over Bridges, gloating profusely. Yes, it was Kevin. Kevin has taken his medicine on the Bridges. Gloating.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it didn't cost me money, but here we are. Yeah, I mean, look, I tell people all the time, if you want to cope with the fact that we traded 5 picks for Mikal Bridges, I will remind you all that your starting point guard passed on the opportunity to earn $111 million, and I do not think that those 2 events are mutually exclusive. And that's all that Stone Cold has to say about that.
Thank you, Robert.
Armand, what does Jason Giambi have to say about 7 games?
That's a Francesa reference because we were doing Mike and the Mad Dog earlier.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually don't even remember what the Jason Giambi reference is. I know it's a Mike and the Mad Dog. I think it's a Jason Giambi reference, but I don't remember what it is. Regardless, Team USA advanced today.
Shout out to Italy.
Shout out to Italy. For those who don't know, I'm not going to go into full detail, but the World Baseball Classic is going on right now, and Team USA's manager thought they had already clinched before playing their 4th game, and midway through their 4th game, they were down 8-0 to Team Italy, and it became very public all of a sudden. Hey, you just started your backups and apparently went out celebrating with your team the night before, but if you lose this game, you're tied with it. You could potentially tie with Italy and Mexico and then lose the tiebreaker to both of them. And they end up losing that game. And then he spoke on the press conference afterwards. Mark DeRosa is the manager's name. It's like, yeah, I miscalculated. My bad. Which would have just been perfect. The Team USA's downfall came at the expense of bad leadership that didn't know what they were doing. Leave that out there. Last one of the night. Hush Z Knicks. Tier 2 thing, GMAC. Well, I'm glad it helps you. It puts me into despair and absolute anger that the bald man upstairs gave everything to little bro. Like Sean and I have presented both ways to look at this. You can move on, and Sean, I think you've done a good job of being you're the reason we have them pick shirts in the store right now. I think it's all part of it. Just recontextualize how you evaluate Mikal Bridges. He's never going to be worth the picks you gave him up for. So evaluate him for what he is, a tier 2 guy. And tier 2 guys can be the contributors and the unsung heroes and important players in playoff series, even if they're not worth what you gave up for them.
If the Knicks win the championship, you will not give a good goddamn about those picks.
We'll never say a word about a pick again.
And honestly, anyone who does, I will block you.
Yeah. You don't need our opinions anymore if you talk about anything after they win a title. Everybody on the Knicks championship team is a hero forever. I'll be Kevin McCullough fans forever. Yabu gets a ring at this point because he will have made it possible to get Alvarado. Okay, Sean, marathon over. Thank you everybody for tuning in to the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by Fanatics Sportsbook. Like this video, remember to subscribe to the channel. We're on iTunes, Spotify. Leave a 5-star rating and a review. Nick Film SKOOL on social. I'm Andrew J Claudio _ he's Sean with a W _ Sean, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Join us later today for KFS After School with Jeff J. That'll be going off at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So set your clock, set your reminders, what have you. Lots to talk about as always. And I will preview why I think the Knicks are going to lose to Indiana. And Andrew can't do anything about it. Well, actually, he could. He could just edit it out.
Yeah, I can also edit it out, but it's live, so it wouldn't be. It would be counterintuitive to edit it out.
Yeah.
And then one more super chat.
Well, first time, long time. It's your boy John. Best way to look at Bridges. It's better to be pissed off than pissed on. I see what he's saying. All I'm going to say is this. Is it an overpay? Yes. Drink some prune juice and let that shit go.
That's one way. That is one way to do it for sure.
Like, it's not like nothing's going to change. I'm sorry. I wouldn't have done it either. But here we are. So we can band together or we can just, complain about it. But like we got to move on from the picks. We have to move on. We have to move on from the picks.
Unfortunately, they can't. The picks will show up and they're just stuck with Mikal Bridges for the next 5 years or whatever. Look, he's going to play better because he can't play worse than he has lately. Last couple games. And as like we said, he's doing a lot of stuff that isn't showing up in the box score on defense that is important. We've said it 1,000 times tonight. He's not ever going to be worth 5 picks. They win a title with him. It will not matter. They will have been money well spent, picks well spent. Okay. No pregame pod for the Indiana game, by the way, because I believe
screw them. That's why
I don't want to talk about tanking teams. That's why I also didn't do a Jazz pregame pod. I'll be back on Saturday, late Saturday night, early Sunday morning to preview the Knicks game against the Golden State Warriors. That's Sean with the W. I'm Andrew Claudio. Until next time, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Happy birthday, Zach. And we will speak with you soon. Peace.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See the Fanatics Sportsbook app.